people's property. Don't know who doing it, so don't round me out. Don't send no police round me and tell me shush my mouth. Where's our conviction? But where's our pride? We selling everything, selling our backside. Just go online, it'll make you sick. You can buy any island, just point and click. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our hey. Ride him. My mother always say, when you find a donkey, ride it. Lose it over here. Man, come on. We got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of fools we must be, selling out for a bag of rice and a cup of tea. You know what does bug me? Help me understand. I can't find piece of property for under 80 grand. But I can fix this, I know what to do. I can squat just like them other people try make me do. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our they're selling our country. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our I get everybody sells some every day. They're selling one island, yeah, they won't keep. What can be left for you and me? It's just an example, what's our kids to do? You want them have a sense of pride, or go selling too. Cause they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling our whole country. Ooh, they're selling our they're selling our country, yes man. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling our whole country. Ooh, they're selling our they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling
Whoa, girls, we out doing
Ramon Ferreira cautioning government from pursuing aragonite as an additional revenue stream for the country, as he said the process would not be able to mature during this lifetime. Through a lease with Sandy Key Development Company to mine aragonite off Ocean Key near Bimini, the government reaps a royalty of about $2 per metric ton. Some have long believed the country could make much more. During his budget debate contribution, Ferreira said the venture may not be as advantageous as one might think.
Because of the length of time it takes to make 1 grain of aragonite, the mining of aragonite is not sustainable in human lifetime. What does that mean? That means that I'm betting that nobody in this honorable chamber or within the sound of my voice is going to live to see 100 years. And I'm pretty sure that you won't live to see 2090, and I'm almost certain that you won't live to see 2000. The point I'm really making is that this is the vast resource. There's a lot we don't know. It took a long time to accumulate, and we need to approach it with caution. Because we mined Ocean Key for 40 years, and it has not recovered. As a matter of fact, the substrate, the ground, the bottom, seabed, characterized by anything but aragonite in that area. And that tells you, based on the science that we know, carbon data that we did, that it's not recoverable in human lifetime. So we need to be very careful. That's the point I'm making, because once it's gone, it's gone.
And so after 3 months of study, the Ministry of Environment has come to the conclusion that we have lots of aragonite in the Bahamas, but the industry is not doable because aragonite is not renewable, because it takes up to 2,000 years for 1 grain of sand to be formed. Yes, that's what he said, up to 2,000 years for 1 grain of sand to be formed. He further went into the media and equivocally stated that the aragonite industry in the Bahamas is only worth $2.5 million. Yes, you heard correctly. He said that the entire aragonite industry in the Bahamas is only worth $2.5 million. This leaves well-thinking Bahamians to have to wonder, is there something that the government is trying to hide? Is there someone that the government is trying to hide it for? Because if the industry is only worth $2.5 million, then why have people been mining aragonite since the 1960s and heavily commercially for the last 40 years? Why has that been if there's no money in it? Mining aragonite is an expensive endeavor, so why would someone spend the kinds of money they do to dredge if it's only worth $2.5 million? And that caused our investigative team to start digging. And so we started dredging for the truth. And boy,
I note that legislation exists to provide the sovereign wealth funds. In keeping with the recommendation of the Economic Recovery Committee, we will review the legislation to determine what amendments might be required to allow the Bahamian people to take advantage of this and how a national sovereign wealth fund may be constituted.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We thought we'd just start you out with some videos just to whet your appetite and get ready for tonight. And of course, we're going to do this from the beginning again. All right, just wanted to make sure we test out the sound and make sure we're good. Of course, you saw some videos. Just to remind you that we've not slackened off from our fight, which is our country benefiting from our natural resources. It is the big fight. It is the real situation that we need to keep focused on in this country. And it is the one that the government is keeping quiet about. They're keeping quiet about it because they don't want you to talk about it, because it is the real empowerment for Bahamian people. So thank you for joining us from wherever you are. It is the 14th, Tuesday, the 14th of March. And we thank all of you for being here. We are getting ready to head over to Miami next week. We're going to have a protest in front of the Bahamian Embassy to bring awareness. We're going to talk to the international media. We're going to bring awareness to what happened on February 15th and what has been happening to Bahamians. Bahamians have been marginalized in this country. And this latest episode that you see with Toby Smith, that's going on with our crown line. This is a Bahamian. And he is a white Bahamian, but he's a Bahamian. And, if he is going through this, imagine what regular Bahamians go through every day in this country. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to show you some documents again to make sure you're up to speed on what's really happening with that. We have a whole bunch of documents as it relates to that. The government is lying to their teeth, and they're trying to change their stance on all of this. It is disgraceful. The opposition is also trying to now get in because they feel that it may be a popular thing to talk about, but they didn't do anything as it relates to this. They fought against Toby. They allowed this matter to also go into court. This government came in and they did, they did nothing. And so we're gonna talk about that today. Also, NIB is going up, and I'm shocked that people aren't in the streets. They're raising NIB again. And they are telling you that, you should just pay the NIB because they want to get there. You want to get your pension when you get old. But how much time is this going to go up by the time as I get old? It's not going up because it's not being paid. It's going up because the money is being stolen. And so we're going to talk about the robbery on Paradise Island. We're going to touch on that NIB. I'm going to open the phone lines for all of you to make sure that you get your word in today. Grand Bahama, we're having our executive. We're going to get this announcements out of the way before we start. Grand Bahama tomorrow at Pelican Bay. We're going to have our executive. We're going to have our executive branch elections for two of our constituencies. So make sure you are there for our branch elections. So make sure you're there. If you want to see me, you want to talk to me, I will be there. So make sure you are there in the flesh. I'll be available to you. If you want to meet me, I'll be there. That's at the Pelican Bay Hotel. So make sure that you are there. That's tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow at, I think it's 7 p.m. I don't want to give you the wrong information, but I guess they can tell me exactly the right time. I think tomorrow at 7 p.m. It's either 6:30 or 7. So just make sure you're there tomorrow, so we could make sure that we get this done. Grand Bahama is ready for change. Grand Bahama is ready for change, and we are ready for change. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you, everyone in Grand Bahama who's been calling and reaching out to us. You are ready for change. And change is not coming. Change is here. And it's here because you are here. And so we're going to make a difference. All right. So make sure you share the live, do your civic duty. Again, next week, we're going to have our protest. We're also arranging a town hall meeting for that evening. So if you watch this from wherever you're watching in America, Canada, whatever, be prepared. We're going to announce the location for the town hall meeting. We'll announce that by the weekend. But just know that that evening, 7 p.m., we're having a town hall meeting. All right. To be able to educate you on what's been happening in the Bahamas, about our sovereign wealth fund, about our carbon credits, and about the illegal immigration situation. It has been devastating. All right, it has been devastating what's been happening. And the government is basically flim-flamming on that. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. All right, I'm here to answer all of your questions and whatever you need to discuss. If you have family members who have questions, etc., things you don't understand, something you want me to discuss, so you could screen record it and send it to them. This is how we're going to get the message out. We're going to win this if you spread the message. You have to get this from door to door. All right? You have to spread it to your family and friends. And that's how we are going to win this. All right? So thank you all for being here. But we got a lot to talk about tonight. So we're gonna get right in it. There are people who have said to us, and they're mostly PLP trolls, there are people who have said to us, why are you going to go to the international community and embarrass our country? I think our leaders have been doing a very good job themselves of embarrassing this country. And what we're trying to do is stop our country from embarrassment. When, you're going to abuse women, beat citizens, attack citizens for no reason in this country, that's when we have a problem. That's when we must stand up. That's when we have a duty to stand up. Someone said that they spoke to, I don't know about you, but I'm embarrassed, to be a Bahamian right now. Someone said they spoke to Miss Skippings. They saw her somewhere, press liaison officer. And they asked Miss Skippings about, what happened with those persons on the beach, how those women were assaulted. And other persons were, but I normally say women because listen, us men, we can take the chafing, we can take whatever you bring at us. This is what we sign up for. We sign up to fight for the Bahamian people, so we're going to take whatever you throw at us. But when you put your hand on our women, that's a different story. All right, that's a different story. And they asked her about it, and she said, "Oh well, we didn't give them a permit to be out there." And the person she said that to was disgusted that you would have senior police officers who don't know the law. Ms. Skippings, are you not ashamed that you don't know the law as it relates to peaceful protests? There is no law that requires someone to have a permit to have a peaceful protest. There's no law in this country that requires you to have a permit. So I heard someone say, well, then why y'all ask for a permit in America but didn't ask for a permit here? One, here and America is two different places. Two, the process in America is not getting permission to have it. You don't need permission to have a protest in America at all. America was built on protests. The Boston Tea Party was a protest, all right? What it is a process to notify the government that you're going to have a protest. So it gives them an obligation to make sure that you do have it and that they have the resources there to protect you and make sure that you have it without any issues. All right. So Ms. Skippings, I'm embarrassed that you said to someone that we didn't have a permit, which is ridiculous. Because you were asked, okay, which law says you need to have a permit to have a protest in this country, but you couldn't say which law does that. No police can say which law does that because no law requires you to have a permit. Now, if you want the government to be there, the police to protect you, then you write to them and let them know you're having a protest. And it is their duty to protect your protests. But to have the police not know the law and these series of things that are happening, it's an embarrassment to our country. It shows that the police don't know the law. So many instances we've been dealing with the police and they've said they don't know the law. One police officer, while we were on the live, said, well, you can't expect the police to know all the law. Yeah, I do. If you're going to arrest someone, you must know the law as it relates to it before you arrest them. All right? And so that's really embarrassing. But they said, why go over there and expose it? Because it doesn't seem to be working here in this country. If you are attempting to bring awareness to a situation in your country and you can't, why not go to another country? Didn't Pinland go overseas? Didn't Pinland go to England about the UBP? Didn't he? No one said he was embarrassing the country. Pinland went overseas to complain about the UBP. He did. All right? Didn't Ingram go to the United States of America to complain about Sir Lyndon Pinland? Didn't he? So y'all didn't know that Hubert Alexander Ingram went to the United States government and became a confidential informant of the United States government in order to overthrow Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinland? Did y'all know that? Didn't know that? Oh, wow. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. Not only am I going to show you that, I'm going to show you the evidence of that. Here it is. Our country was suffering from being controlled by drug dealers and drugs being allowed to come in and out of this country. Here it is, September 21st, 1983. All right? And so Hubert Ingram was here. Okay, my computer being hacked. But in any event, I'll keep going. Hubert Ingram, this is a letter by Hubert Ingram. It says, "Dear Andrew," he's writing to U.S. officials, all right? He says, oh, I can hardly see it now. Something's going on my computer. He says, "In keeping with my posture towards the continued proliferation of problems that you are clearly aware of, and your requirements to have in written form my desire to meet with the relevant persons in Washington, I find it now urgent to make that request of you. My posture, as well as yours towards those we represent, makes it important that we eliminate the root of what is causing good governance to falter in the Bahamas." Oh, wow. Ingram went on to say, "Persons do things for different reasons and in different ways, and quite frankly, I would conduct public affairs more honestly than those presently doing so." In other words, I'll have honest government because Pinland them doing dishonest government. He says, "In view of our past discussions and the present circumstances, along with my resolve to do whatever is necessary in meeting in strictly confidential environment at the earliest availability of the Attorney General is not only appreciated but now urgently needed. And I remain resolute in my posture and confidently await your affirmative." Sorry, my screen is doing something crazy. I can hardly see it. "Affirmative reply to my request." And that is, "Best regards, Hubert A. Ingram." You see the signature at the bottom there. All right. And so this is Hubert Ingram he said he had conversations over with them, with U.S. authorities, and then they told him to put it in. And so he put it in writing, and he wants them to meet with him so he could snitch on Pinland and talk about what's going on in the Bahamas, because things isn't going right in the Bahamas. All right. Yes, it is. Here it is. And so there's more documents, and we got this came through Freedom of Information Act in America. Of course, we don't have a Freedom of Information Act because we have a corrupt government. So Philip Brave Davis is corrupt. So of course, he's going to wait until the end of his term to even consider enacting that Freedom of Information. they're going to drag their foot until they didn't make up all their money and sell all the passports and visas and everything else. And then they're going to try to put that in place afterwards. Right? It's another, well, I'll skip that document. There's someone who's writing about Ingram. So I think this is the reply to Ingram. Yeah, so December 14th, 1983. So he wrote in September and they wrote back to him in December. And this is what they said. So please excuse me as I won't read cogently because I can hardly see the screen. It says, "My dear Miss Ingram, upon view of," and this is Miss Hubert Ingram from the United States Embassy, Bahamas. They wrote him through the United States Embassy in the Bahamas. And this is from the Office of the Attorney General, Washington, D.C., because that's who he was writing to. All right? So let me see if I can see this. "Dear Ms. Ingram, upon review of your request to meet with me in a strictly confidential environment, I must unfortunately deny your request on the basis that such a meeting should be arranged through the diplomatic channels of both the U.S. and Bahamian governments. Your request, whether of a public or private nature, does not meet the diplomatic requirements constituting your position in the Bahamian government, and certainly not in my position in the United States government. While having recently been made aware of your concern about your government's narcotic interdiction policies, about the government's drug policies, about what they're doing with the drug dealers. I must, however, reiterate that any meetings between you and I be arranged through the appropriate diplomatic channels of our respective governments. Nevertheless, I hope you would still maintain an open relationship with U.S. officials in the Bahamas while attempting to confront what you consider to be suspicious actions on the part of Bahamian government officials." And that's from William French Smith, Attorney General at the time. All right? And so that's the documents, y'all. All right, that's the documents. And so that's what they responded. So in other words, they said, "Okay, we see you write to us, but I can't let you meet with me at this time. But still work with us." And then what they did was they did something behind the scenes. All right. And so keep watching. You see. No, it's something different. Hold on, sorry. Okay, it's a different document. How did I get in there? All right, sorry. Let's keep going. Right, there we go. This is a memo that was then written from Robert W. Merkel, the U.S. Attorney, to all Jacksonville task force agents. You know, Jacksonville, that's Florida. Task force agents, all right? So it's March 22nd. What is this? March 2nd, 1987. It says, "Be advised that all collect calls from Mr. Hubert Ingram, CI 1622, in other words, confidential informant 1622." So what they did was they sent a letter out there, and then they came back and did a memo underneath, on the ground, to make sure they protect him. All right? So they said, "Be advised that all collect calls from Mr. Ingram." Remember, they had cell phones back then. All right? Well, they had some, but they were brick phones and expensive, etc. But Ingram, he had them. All right? Mr. Hubert Ingram, confidential informant, 1622, and or Mr. Aaron Kiki Knowles, you all know him, very popular F&M. Confidential informant 0827 must be accepted. So they must accept calls from Hubert Ingram and Aaron Kiki Knowles. The telephone numbers of incoming calls should be requested to affect an immediate callback response. Immediate. You all must take calls from Ingram and Kiki Knowles, and you must have immediate response to it. The requested telephone numbers and the confidential informant file number must be recorded in the FTC logbook for federal accounting purposes. Likewise, any communication charges outside Jacksonville Task Force requires headquarters incurred by any and all assistant U.S. attorney, DEA, or customs agent regarding the mentioned persons can be reimbursed with proof of telephone number called, date, time, charges. All intelligence conveyed must be recorded and duplicated prior to being filed in the confidential informant dossier. That's Hubert Alexander Ingram. All right, Hubert Alexander Ingram. And there's more. May 11th, 1987, Office of the Attorney General. All right. Cooperation and correlation between Southern and Middle Districts of U.S. Attorney's Offices, United States, versus Carlos Enrique Lida. So that's Joe Lida, Carlos Lida with Normansky et al. Case number whatever. All right. And so this is all information here. Now, I don't have time to read all this, but it said you would also be aware. I'll skip down here. What was I skipping too much? Nah, let me read it to you. I think y'all got nothing else to do tonight. Let me read this to you, so y'all know what's really going on. Dear Leon. All right, so let me make sure you understand who's being written to. Mr. Leon Kellner, U.S. Attorney, Southern District of Florida. All right. So listen, dear Leon, I must express concern that I should be compelled to officially write to you in my capacity of Attorney General, as I had thought your conversations with Associate Attorney General Stephen Trott would have resolved any differences between Bob Merkel and yourself. I now conclude that your lack of cooperation and correlation with Bob has to be attributed to character differences. In view of the long-established tradition of U.S. attorneys cooperation in any way with the collective reward of federal prosecutions, possibly you may not be fully appraised of the far-reaching effect of the cooperation of all relevant federal agencies in the matter concerning Lida, that's Joe Lida. Your knowledge of U.S. policies on drug trafficking, terrorism, and other subversive action on the part of foreign governments should make it evident that the Lida trial can be the genuine beginning of the end of those South American private citizens and government officials, as well as Bahamian private citizens and government officials who engage in the trafficking of drugs into the U.S. So government officials are trafficking drugs in the U.S. It says, as you know, my views of foreign citizens and agencies as being those who must be convinced of the value of U.S. policy is likewise the express sentiments of the White House. In view of U.S. policy, you must recognize that the Bahamas as a prime transshipment point for traffickers geographically places a more immediate concern for U.S. citizens, primarily in Florida, and secondarily, the remainder of the U.S. You would likewise know that you have invested many man-hours and the finance into trying to convince the Bahamas government to adopt U.S. policies towards drug trafficking, but at times I feel the Bahamian government is in accordance with U.S. policy, and other times I feel more convinced measures are needed. You would also know that we have secured many confidential informants in the Bahamas, one of whom is of paramount status to your district as well as the Middle District. Confidential informant 1622, aka Hubert Alexander Ingram. Subsequently, through the continued effort of your Assistant Attorney, U.S. Attorney Richard Gregory, and yourself, your district has continued to be the top intelligence source about the Bahamian government's modus operandi and about many involved in trafficking of drugs. You would also be aware that there is much more work to do, but with the recent apprehension of Lida and the help of confidential informant, i.e. 1622, we can be afforded much advantage in the Bahamas as far as future indictments, apprehensions, trials, and ultimately greater cooperation from the Bahamas government. Leon, there is much to gain over much time by your cooperation with Bob and he prosecutes leader. It seems from the intelligence reports that I've seen from out of your district that Bahamians are politically inclined. This can be beneficial to U.S. policy in the event that our present tenuous relationship with the Bahamas government sours. In other words, James politically inclined, we could work with the other guy, make him prime minister. It says, in view of the above mentioned facts, as well as the intelligence sources, the confidential informants, aka Hubert Ingram, your district has perpetuated over the past 5 years. I, Edwin Melton, Attorney General of the United States, hereby direct you to cooperate to the fullest extent of your office as U.S. Attorney, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And so that's Hubert Ingram, all right? So Finland went to England. Hubert Ingram went to America. But it's a problem if the Bahamians feel marginalized in their own country. We can't get real access to our own crown land. If you want to do a little small farm or something, they'll give you some crown land in Andrews, etc. But you can't get to do nothing real substantive. Even if you're a white Bahamian like Toby, they're not going to give you that. They're going to prefer to lie and say that you didn't really apply, or you didn't get the signature, or that you were the person who offered them. You know, Bahamians feel marginalized. We're being our constitutional rights are being violated, and that is a problem for some persons. They say, "Oh, these people just want to be prime minister." Didn't Finland want to be prime minister? Didn't Ingram want to be prime minister? Huh? I said, Mr. Bain, don't turn into snitch like them. I listen. We are a sovereign country. All right. There's nothing to snitch about. However, we must let the world know that our country is being used for the shipment of drugs and guns into the United States of America. We need to let America know that it's happening through the smuggling of people under the guise of a humanitarian situation. They're using it as a cover. And these gangsters, these criminals, just like in the 80s, these criminals is amassing a lot of power and money because of their dangerous drug enterprise. And so that means that they're going to have more money than the Bahamians soon. It's already started. They're going to be buying up our property and not just squatting on the land. We have to stand up. And so we need to let the world know that our government is complicit in this, in our opinion, that based on their actions, one, the prime minister stood up and told the Haitian nationals that he is one of them. That's where he's from. He's Haitian. And that he's going to look out for them. And then that's what we started to see. We saw for over a year, they did nothing. They pretended that there was no crisis. They said there's no immigration crisis. No. What are they talking about? There's no immigration crisis. No, everything is under control. And we saw them, covering for them, taking up for them. We even saw recently a Bahamian was attacked viciously by these people, violently break down a home, destroy their crops. That's Miss Curry, and the government sent, a senior police officer to stop, those illegal homes that were put there from being broken down. The government is looking out for them. We see that our defense force has stopped interdicting them at sea. When you see the signs, you have to wake up. We are being bred out. We are at war. We are under attack. This is an invasion. This is an invasion of criminal gangs, not just poor people who come here. Someone told me, some in the Asian village, they gave us information that one of those homes, the reason the senior police was called was that one of those homes, If we had broken it down, it would have had drugs in it. And that's the real reason that we were stopped, because of what we would have found in some of those homes when we broke them down. I personally had a chance to talk to the defense force officer who gave me certain information, you know, and he feels that the defense force is compromised. He's a senior man who's in charge of certain operations, and he's concerned for the country. We need change, y'all. We need change. We need change. All right. Wow, look like most people are watching this on YouTube today. So hello to all my YouTube folks. Thank you all for tuning in. YouTube has a lot of views right now. All right. So thank you to all of you. So we are going to speak the truth. We're going to let the world know what's going on in our country. And we're not going to tolerate it. This sham thing that they are doing, where they are pretending like they're doing something. Why isn't the government in Andres? Why isn't the government in Eleuthera? Y'all can tell me. Why isn't the government on Harbor Island? They pretending to do some stuff in Abaco, and they pay off and get some people to sell out and start saying, oh, the government doing a good job. Listen, y'all stay focused, Y'all stay focused. Many are going to sell their souls for a little contract here or there. Stay focused. You see anybody going around praising the government for doing these little sham raids? Be very suspect of them. Stay focused. We have a country to save. Because if my maid ain't been washing the dishes and ain't been making up the bed for months, and all of a sudden, after I make some noise, she go make up the bed, I ain't gonna be praising her. I ain't gonna be sitting around saying, oh, the maid make up the bed, she's doing a good job, I just want to thank her for making up the bed. No. I'm not impressed. Open your eyes. That's all I can say about that. Open your eyes. I don't have time to waste time and pat people up. Open your eyes. Anyone you see all of a sudden going and praising up the government is a sellout. Anyone you see all of a sudden the prime minister sit down and letting them put him on video. You think the prime minister let you sit down and interview him on video if you don't already know that you belong to him? Do you think the prime minister is gonna let you sit down in front of your video and give you an exclusive and say, yes, talk to me, unless he doesn't already know you belong to him? Go wake up. We have to stay focused. This is not about individuals, including myself. If you see me start acting shady, if you see me all of a sudden cozying up to Minnis, cozying up to Brave Davis or any of these people, praising them up, don't trust me anymore. We have one country to save. Everyone is not strong to make it to the finish line. Stay focused. That's all I can say to you. Stay focused. All right? So, the government is not doing a good job on immigration. They are failing us on immigration. They are failing miserably. They are saying, oh, well, we did the little raid in Abaco, but then they know that we were coming before we come. How do you think they know? How do you think they know? Because y'all are informing them. Y'all are sending the message down. Y'all are. Getting the call coming through. All right. Y'all are informing them to let them know, hey, we having a raid today. Y'all The legal ones, tell them go hide. We'll be there at 7 o'clock. Then they come back 8:30, all right? Bahamians, don't be impressed with this little fake sham that they're doing. Because if they were serious, they would be in Andres. They would be all over New Providence dealing with them. But no, they prefer to harass the Bahamians. Y'all stay tuned. I promise you, I will not sell out. I promise you that we will stand firm. Stand with who I tell you to stand with. This fight isn't easy, but we are looking for soldiers like Randall Fox, who is not going to sell out. That's what we're looking for. All right? So I just wanted to make that clear. Now, I'm going to just need to touch on a couple of this document from Toby. I just want to show you this again. I showed you the other documents last time. We showed you the whole sequence of events. But the government went out in the media and they said that Toby drafted that lease, and he sent it to them, and they didn't sign it. So that's what their excuse for why they didn't have to go forward with it. There's a principle in law called offer and acceptance. That means if you offer something to someone and they accept it, you have a duty to continue with it once there's consideration, right? And so the reason they said that Toby made the offer is so that they don't have to go forward with it, saying that they didn't accept it. Because once an offer is made and there's acceptance, you legally have to go forward with it. All right? And that doesn't even have to be in writing. You understand? So just understand, a verbal contract is a contract. All right? Contracts don't have to be in writing. Right, a verbal contract is a contract. So to make sure there was no gray area, because land deals is supposed to be in writing, but to make sure that there was no gray area, what they did was they lied and said that Toby drafted this lease, and that's how they could get rid of him. But they were offering him to sign again, to apply again, I should say, while they gave it to whoever. And then they came out and said that you know, they're still considering his proposal. What do you mean you're still considering his proposal? So he applied first. How do you get to Royal Caribbean and finish their proposal and say he's going to start immediately, but you didn't get to his? And someone said, oh, but it was in court. It didn't have to be in court. You choose to have it in court. This is an agreement. You could have come in, if that was our government, we would have come in and said, listen, it's Toby, this is a Bahamian. We're giving them that land to do an attraction for our tourists because we need stuff for them to do. Done. Royal Caribbean, what y'all have to say? Y'all wanna do something? All right, let's see if any Bahamians want to do this first, and then we'll get back to you, eh? Because we need a government that's going to look out for Bahamians first. I would have told Royal Caribbean, oh, I see what you want to do now. What we're going to do is we're going to offer some grants to Bahamians because we need stuff for tourists to do. Because if 30,000 come in a day, Royal Caribbean saying that they are proposing to hold less than 1,000 people, we still got 29,000 people we got to entertain. And so what we need is attractions for them to deal with in our country. And so what we'll do is we will invest in Bahamian so that they can make attractions. And we will partner with them. So if we take money from our government, our sovereign wealth fund or whatever, and we invest in their company, we can say, well, 50% for you, Bahamian, 50% for the sovereign wealth fund. But you're going to manage this. This is your dream. You have the experience. You have the know-how. Get this done. Now we have something for our tourists to do when they come here instead of looking at that old, decrepit Bay Street. You see? And so this is what they could have done. Only because of the backlash, they came back and said, oh, well, we're still considering Toby. Then the prime minister said, oh, we told him to apply again. What does he have to apply again for? He already applied. You have all the documentation. If it was just that the government didn't sign it, go sign it and let's move forward. Why do Bahamians have to constantly be treated like garbage, like trash in our own country? Why? When are Bahamians going to be first class in this country? Bahamians, it's time for us to stand up and time for us to wake up. Here's the document again. This is the Department of Lands and Surveys writing to Toby. Yeah? It says Toby C.S. Smith. And then it names the company. Yes, sir. And this says, there's reference to approval for Crown lease. 5 acres at the west end of Paradise Island Lighthouse and Beach Club, Company Limited. Reference is made to the above subject. Enclosed are the lease and counterpart for a leasee signing, dating, sealing, witnessing, and notarizing. The date on the top of the page should be left blank, and it will be inserted at the time of the lesser signature. Please also note that the lease diagrams require a signature. All right, so them sent this to him. And I showed you the other documents where they were drafting this, and it showed the letters between the departments saying, here's the letter we drafted. The Attorney General office saying, send it to the Department of Land and Survey. Hey, say here's the leases we draft for y'all to give to Toby. Send it to Toby. But they came up with this lie because Toby committed one sin. Toby, I am sorry. You are a sinner. And you committed one particular sin. Toby, I'm sorry to have to say this. You are a criminal. And you committed one particular crime. And that crime is being Bahamian while in the Bahamas. This has been a crime for the last 50 years. That you and all others who have tried to do anything in this country, except political cronies, have been punished for unknowingly. You have been sentenced and punished and victimized for being Bahamian while in the Bahamas. But we are going to take this country back, and we are going to build a Bahamas that is for Bahamians. We are going to make this Bahamas great with vision for this Bahamas and for Bahamians to empower our people. That is what we're going to do. Toby, you were robbed. Because if the government really wants to do something, they could just sign. If they say, oh, the government didn't sign, then just sign. Just sign. Why does he have to apply again? Because you want to stall. And you don't really want to give this to him. That's a Bahamian. That's our land. But y'all could run and open up the red carpet for RCL, Royal Caribbean. I remind all of you that I was a part of a group that was trying to buy the hotel. We won the bidding. We had the highest bid. A month after the bid closed, RCL came into the picture. Pressured the government and got them to give it to them. Someone said, oh, maybe the government might make Toby an alternative offer. They made us an alternative offer. We met with them. We met with Crazy Thompson and others. We met with the government. I also met at the office of the Prime Minister, but they made us an offer. They said, we'll try to get y'all Xanadu or Bahamia. Bahamia was for sale. When I looked at Xanadu is a shell. Xanadu, you can't even sell it. That's just property. The building is garbage. They're going to sell us Bahamia, which included the Royal Oasis. All right. Hotel is just a shell. So they made us an offer. The problem we had was that we had a Bahamian involved in that. And the deal never came to fruition. The day they signed with RCL, I believe they were cursed. There was hail in Grand Bahama, as you'd remember. And the port, the shipyard, which is owned 50%, I think it is, by Royal Caribbean. The dock broke out of nowhere, just an earthquake broke. And the crane fell on their ship. and caused them $60 million worth of damage, the same amount of money they promised to pay for the hotel. And that deal never came off the ground. The partners who wanted to deal with this had $1 billion cash in hand to develop Grand Bahama. But instead, the government called us in. The government called us in and asked us to fund the other projects. They asked us to help fund the port because they didn't have the funding for that. They asked us to give the money to Royal Caribbean because they didn't have the money to do what they were saying. They asked us to give the money to Royal Caribbean and partner with them. My partner said, no, we won the bidding and we shouldn't have to. Give it to us. If they don't have the money, they don't qualify. Give it to us. We have the money, proof in the bank, etc., etc. But no. And now again, we see the same thing. Royal Caribbean is talking about spending $100 million or some nonsense. And, they're doing a beach club for $100 million, but the hotel was going to be $60 million. But in any event, they're going to be getting money from the Bahamian market in order to build. They'll wake up. Is this really a foreign investor? If they're taking money from us to build that, think, are they really a foreign investor? No, this is an opportunity for the Prime Minister and his cronies to get ownership of this, 49%. For persons to get ownership in this. Wake up. I would lastly touch on national insurance because that is going up. They're taxing us out of the roof. And if y'all really want to continue this way, then you go ahead. But talk to your friends and family, man. We got to bring this change. National insurance is going up big time. But it's not going up because persons have not been paying. They've been sending Bahamians to jail who don't pay. But national insurance cannot pay and get away with it. In any event, we've already revealed the documents, myself and Maria, which showed how national insurance was being raped and robbed. And you have people, for example, like Leslie Miller, who they keep putting him on the radio like he is some credible person. I guess because he's going to say stuff that's going to draw attention. They feel, it's good to have him there for attention. But people like Leslie Miller who borrowed money from Bank of the Bahamas, they used Bank of the Bahamas, they robbed Bank of the Bahamas. It was a bank robbery, $100 million robbery. And he was one of those that got money from it. And then they took our NIB money to cover them. That's why you pay it. That's why it's going up. Because we lack vision. And so we got to fix this big time. This ain't gonna work. All right? So while they're bragging about more of NIB, these almost 30,000 tourists coming every day to the Bahamas, while they're bragging about that, where do these tourists go? What do they have to do? And 80 to 90% of these tourists never leave the ship. Let me make this make sense for you. They're bragging about more tourists coming. That's nothing to do with what the government did. The government did nothing for that. I see them trying to give Minister of Tourism credit for that. No. We're a close port that costs the cruise ships less in fuel and everything else so they use our port because of proximity, where they give them a destination outside of them, but it's close, so it doesn't cost them much. So it's nothing to do with us. All right. But think about this. If more tourists come in, then we should be getting more revenue. Then we shouldn't have to be taxing Bahamians to death. Think about that. If more tourists come in, you're getting paid per head for persons who come on the ship, so that's more income you're making. Why then are you still taxing us to death? What are you doing with this additional money? See, Bahamians, I want you all to wake up. So whenever they brag about number of tourists increasing, Yet they're increasing taxes and finding every new way to tax us. Wake up. If more tourists come in, reduce VAT, please. Think about that. If more tourists spending money, reduce VAT, please. Reduce our other taxes. Why are you trying to? They are now. The government has just announced that they are going to tax QuickBooks. So any Bahamian business person that uses QuickBooks, you can't afford accountants to use QuickBooks. They're trying to find every way to make business hard for you. They are now making QuickBooks pay VAT to the Bahamian government. QuickBooks. Y'all stop using QuickBooks, all right? Anything the government tries to take VAT from, stop using them. Airbnb, don't use it. Don't use it. We need to start up our own thing, and I think I should do that. Start up a Bahamas Airbnb for all Bahamians who want to do that. Set it up in another country, so legally, you're not paying. I'm in the Bahamas, and so our people don't have to be worried about paying that. Look into that. But they are taxing Facebook VAT. They're taxing all manner of internet companies, which is not really legal. But if they volunteer to do it, then it can be done. You see? Someone says the live is freezing. Let me double check. Do a quick check. Says the live is freezing. Okay, look at it's okay now. All right. So I want you all to wake up and not sleep on this. This is serious. Last thing before I open the lines quickly, we go to 9:30 today. Before I open the lines, I received a video that every day, every Tuesday, and on other days, these people are coming and flooding into our country. 140 came today on Bahamas Air, I'm told. 140. Y'all better wake up. If 140 of these Haitians are coming into our country, 140, twice a week, times 2, 280, times 52, because they're coming in every week. That's 14,000 in 1 year. 14,560 in 1 year. Y'all better wake up. Times 5 years, the term. That's 72,800 legally on the plane. That's Bahamas Air alone. That ain't the charters every day and the other flights, Pineapple Air and the other flights every day. That's just the two from Bahamas Air. Do y'all see what's happening? Do y'all see? Y'all better stand up and fight and stop listening to these trolls. Y'all better stand up. I'm asking you to stand with me to save the Bahamas. It doesn't matter I don't care if you vote for me next election. This ain't about that. This is about saving our Bahamas. That is the mission right now. We can worry about election when we get there, but we got to stand up and save our Bahamas. Y'all wake up, man. Wake up. This them.
This the Haiti flight, and it's the Haiti flight, and
I just removing the voice. I don't want to hear who that is. So I just removed the voice so y'all could just see. Look, airport crunk, airport crowded. and 140 of them in there, and more than 140 outside waiting for them. Stand with me. I'm going to open the phone lines. 803-5995, 803-5995. If you have any questions, comments, anything you need covered, this is your chance. 803-5995. So remember, we're going. You can contact my office, 577-4158, if you want to travel with us, etc., etc. Okay, we go straight to the phone lines. 803-5995. Good evening, you're live.
Good evening, Mr. Bean and COI family, man.
How you doing?
Everything good, sir. I want to touch just two issues real quick.
Yes.
If I may. The first issue being, remember when they was apprehending all those illegal immigrants, they say in Abaco a few weeks ago?
Yes.
Mr. Bean, they are here now, so they did not even send them to the detention center. I know these people personally. Yes, sir. I say I was waiting to get in contact with you so I can let you know. I know that you could come and interview these people. They brought them over here to make it look good for the government.
Right.
They are actually over here trying to get back over there, but the government tell them, say, listen, y'all gotta wait till it blow over. It ain't gonna look good if we send y'all back right now.
What?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You could, Mr. Bean, I can send you a message after this, so you could come and interview these people. They in my yard. Anyway, the next thing that I want
to do it before they try to silence them, because you already said it publicly. Do a little video with them talking, all right? And then I'll come and because I could be in Freeport, I'll come and talk to them myself.
Yes, I will.
Do a little video talking to them about what's going on.
Yes, I will be sure to. And the second thing that I wanted to touch on, I just want, like I said, encourage all people who listening to these videos with Mr. Bean. Man, we all look at Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean just bring facts, and that's the reason why I just follow behind Mr. Bean. You don't just focus. Y'all feel like, we in a cult or something. I want y'all to come and read and see the facts for yourself. If you have education, you know what I mean? You come and read for yourself, man, and take on this education with Mr. Bean and see why family is dishing out. Because listen here, you don't want to be left behind. Our country is under siege. We have a lot of things that going on, but we can't even begin to touch on. It's so much aspects that's going on, and we need all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean, I really appreciate what you're doing, and y'all stay encouraged.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, Bean.
All right. 803-5995 is the number. 803-5995. I saw this trying to call in just now. 803-5995. We think about Hubert Ingram and these documents that we pulled. 803-5995. I also wanted to touch on the straw vendors. I want the government to understand that they govern for the people, and if the straw vendors say that they want to work a certain way, let them work a certain way. Good evening, you're live.
Yes, good evening. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Everything blessed, man. Poor people defender.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I'm calling to find out about the update on Miss Curry. Is she going back? Because that leave was staying with me the way they was cheering, and you all get escorted off that. You get what I'm trying to say? And I was talking to somebody today about like that land issue about like getting people off your property and stuff like that, right? But here's something. You see, when the Prime Minister went over to Abaco, and I think Kai Mills, he was on a resort to catch a boat to go wherever it is he was going, right? Mm-hmm. And I think when they get a deal, you notice how one of the securities came over and tell him he has to leave because it's private property.
Right.
I find that they're crazy. And then I was trying to get a little update on it. Why do y'all have to keep giving these people notice? Because even though y'all been there, y'all give them the notice. Anybody even trying to leave that property? No. And then you had so much laws that they're breaking. Mm-hmm. Did any government agencies went back, even though if they don't even like you or whatever going on with the movement, You don't think they should have had immigration, police officers, and things like that? Because a lot of crime was broken there. That's just what I feel, and I feel bad for her. Seriously, because it costing me, it just runs something up in me to see people cheer when you all walk off. That leave a real bitter taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? Eh?
Yeah.
That leave a real bitter taste in my mouth. And then that eyewitness, the way how the eyewitness news just going on one side of that, and then afterwards he tried to call you, I would have put him, like, you catch what I can understand. It's like you have to send a message now, man. And I don't know who back and everybody, you have to go back and do what you gotta do. Because that applaudments, like that send, that trickle around the whole nation. And yes, you're right, we just getting outnumbered in every way. And that new clean way, because whoever get dropped here, they ain't getting back.
No.
They ain't getting back.
No.
So I just want to know, I can hang up, but I want you to let us know the update on the situation with Ms. Curry. That's all, please.
Thank you.
All right.
What was so sick is that after Ms. Curry, Ms. Curry was abused by the government of this country. All right. I understand her being abused by the Haitians. They have their reasons. They fighting for what they want. They coming and taking it. And if Bahamon's going to stand together and fight for it, then they can take it. But I will never understand the Bahamian government fighting against its own people. I would never understand that. I would never not fight against that. Those same demons who when Curry reached out to, wrote letters to, etc., after doing what they did to Miss Curry by sending the police there to kidnap her and me, instead of dealing with the real criminals who were there, Ingram, Davis, and Christie went to her brother's funeral on Grand Key. Miss Curry's brother. They stood up in that funeral and talked good with her brother. I don't know if y'all ain't tired getting swing yet. They stood up in the funeral with Miss Curry in the front bench. And talked so good with her brother. After doing that to her and her brother. He is a staunch PLP. This woman had found the PLP. And that's what they do to their own. They tell you, oh, we for the poor people. Oh, this one nice, that one nice. Brave, if you nice, why you do that to that woman? Why would you do that? No. Y'all on agenda, y'all on a mission to turn this country over to aliens. And we got to stand up and we got to fight. That's the update. So she went, so I'm waiting for her to come back to New Providence. She went to her brother's funeral right after that. And those evil men stood up in that funeral. And then come eat her food afterwards. Man, how do you do that? I talking to people in the studio, right? Because I understand if the Bahamas getting this. How do you treat a Bahamian woman like this? Instead of helping her, you fought against her for the illegal immigrant, and then go on her brother's funeral, talk good with them, and then eat their food. Eat their food. How you just eat Miss Curry food after kidnapping her? Bahamas for Bahamians is coming. The Bahamas for Bahamians is there. Miss Curry was so broken, she said she couldn't even talk to them. It was like it was a dream. Like she couldn't believe that this was really happening. Those people had the gall after doing what they did all these years and then doing this now to come there and eat up her food. Boy, listen. Brave, y'all is the coldest. Brave, I don't blame you. I blame you. I blame the Bahamian people for putting you there and letting you stay there. Y'all kidnapped the woman. Falsely imprisoned the woman. Because when you put in the back of a police car that can't open from the inside, you're imprisoned her. See, I don't mind whatever y'all do to me, but y'all keep touching our women, man. Then y'all could have... Y'all notice I said nothing about Women's Day last week? Someone came to me, they said, Lincoln, you gotta, it's Women's Day, put something out there, say something. I said nothing. Because all they've been doing is abusing our women in this country. When I saw what happened on February 15th and how they sent male police officers and they abused our women in this country, you think I am entertaining them? Not a word from the Christian Council. Not a word from the churches. Not a word from these organizations like ORG, Organization for Responsible Government. Not a word. So all y'all could do is ask for the Freedom of Information Act. So when our rights are being taken and the government is being irresponsible, y'all nothing to say. A new Bahamas where Bahamians are going to be first is coming. It is coming. It is there. 803-5995 is a number. 803-5995. Oh, it's 9:30. I promised to go till 9:30 today. So if you're in Grand Bahama, come see me. Come give me a hail tomorrow. I'm going to be at Pelican Bay. We're having our elections. You're welcome to be there. You haven't in the hotel. Yeah, we have them in the hotels now. We ain't under the tent tomorrow. We'll be in the hotel. All right. So come and see me. I'll be there at Pelican Bay. Please make sure you join an association. Be a part of this. I saw the Christian Council put something out there about the government asking them to account for their funds. To account for where their money is coming from. And the Christian Council wants us to side with them.
Hello?
Good evening, you're live.
How you doing?
Yes.
President Lincoln Bain.
How you doing, man?
All right, I'm doing okay. I know it can get better when the new Bahamas is here, but right now, ain't nobody can say they're good right now because we living in the Bahamas and we stay in it.
Yeah.
So it ain't good for us. I got a question and then I hang up and listen to answer.
Mm-hmm.
I was involved. Well, me and a lot of people in the Bahamas who are hurt. I was involved. I was a person that was shot in a drive-by shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know in the new Bahamas, is there anything that's going to be in place for people who are victims of innocent drive-bys and stuff like that?
When you say innocent, they wasn't targeting you, but you got a straight bullet.
Right, there's a bunch of people there. It's 11 persons on Fox Park. And I just want to know, if in the new Bahamas, is there anything going to be Would you have what's the plans for the New Bahamas and stuff like that?
Don't have the phone. Let me say this to you. In the New Bahamas, we are going to be similar to Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Norway, etc. We will have no crime. Because crime is not going to make sense. Because if you are benefiting from your natural resources and getting a check every month or every year, whatever people decide, you're going to be really stupid to mess that up by committing crimes. Because if you commit a crime, you're going to stop getting your check. All right? So if you're getting your check every year, why are you going to steal Grammy's purse? Why are you going to break into the car and steal Grammy's purse? You're not going to want to get into any problems, all right? And so there's not going to be a reason, because crime mostly happens because of necessity more than greed, for most people. And so that's going to be one of the first things that reduces crime. The next thing is that the penalty for crime is going to be so serious that persons aren't going to be interested in committing crimes moving forward, all right? We're going to make sure that you have no need to commit a crime, because you're going to be taken care of by your natural resources. So if you do commit a crime, the severity, the punishment is going to be more severe than it is today. It's not going to make any sense. And we're going to catch you, because the police force will not be corrupt and corrupted with persons who are making sure that crime happens, that things that would happen in the shanty town the other day, that it happens. Drug dealers are being aided and abetted, all right, by government officials in order to do what they're doing. And so we're going to make sure that happens. Next. So we're going to reduce the chances of you suffering from a drive-by. All right. We're going to go after gangs seriously. All right. There's not going to be any gangs in our country, and there will be no Colombian connection running drugs through our country. That is a guarantee. We're serious with that. The drug houses are going to end, because the police cars will be parked right up by the drug house. So if you want to come buy drugs in front of the police, you come. We're going to go after the money of the criminals. All right? We're going to go after the money. We know where their drug houses are, where their stash houses are, where the safe houses are. We're going to go after them and take their money. So now your money gone, you owe that Colombian. The Colombian will take care of you. We ain't got to catch you. You could hide from us. You can't hide from him. All right? Because you owe them some money. We're going to deal with this in a serious way, because we will not be corrupt and we will not be corruptible. All right? We've already put forward plans for crime, exactly how we're going to deal with it, et cetera, et cetera. But you won't have to worry about that. And you will have free healthcare in this country, the same way it is in those countries I told you about. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, criminals who commit crimes against certain persons will have to pay retribution to those persons. All right? If you murder someone, you should help to pay the expenses of their child who is left behind. All right? If you injure someone in a robbery, etc., money should come from you in order to help pay for that person's expenses. You did that, not the state. So we can put you to hard labor, but the benefits from your hard labor is going to go to that person who is a victim.
Amen.
All right? And portions of what you should have gotten from your sovereign wealth fund should go to that person who was your victim, and your sovereign wealth fund should be cut off. Simple as that.
Simple as that. Sound good.
All right, man.
Yeah, Mr. Ben, like I said, Mr. President Ben, continue doing what you're doing. I am with you 110%.
Thank you,
as far as I can speak for me and my family. And I been with you from being in the evolution. I got my shirt I be wearing that all over people. I was like, where you wear this shirt? And I be proud to let them know, listen, what you have any children who going to be a biochemistry or anything like that, we can need them in the New Bahamas. So don't look bad at this shirt now, because we can need all your children who are doing these biochemistry and all these technical stuff that we don't have in the Bahamas right now. We can need them in the New Bahamas, eh? So the Human Evolution Coalition of Independence, 110%. Who ain't doing that? Ain't making no sense.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Thank you for your call. illegal immigration problem. They don't have immigration problem in Dubai and United Arab Emirates and these countries because people need to come into work. We are going to build the new Bahamas. We are going to have a boom in 10 years that you can't even imagine from our natural resources. We're going to have a massive boom. And like I said before, and I will say it again, we're going to want people to come in illegally, because when you come in illegally, I'm going to get you to the phone lines right now. When you come in illegally, you're going to get a 5-year sentence. And for that 5 years, you're going to do hard labor. You're going to help build our hospitals. You're going to help build our prisons. You're going to help build our government offices because you no more leasing the croonies. We're going to have our own government offices, not leasing from Leslie Miller and these other political croonies. No, our government offices that we own, the people. You're going to farm our crops, so you're going to farm our organic crops. So come illegal if that's what you want to do. You can work for us for free, hard labor. All right? So, yeah, come illegally. No, we ain't stopping illegal immigration, We just shifting it. All right? So come in illegal. When we catch that boat, when you overstay, when you do any of these things, you are going to do hard labor for 5 years and you are going to work and help build the new Bahamas. Now, if you want to come in legally and the right way, then come in. You're welcome to come in. But illegal immigration, no. That will continue. All right? Please come so that we could have some labor. Good evening, you're live.
Good evening, President Bain.
How you doing?
Pretty good, and yourself?
Awesome.
Good. The guy would call to give you that information for the Haitians in Nassau. I'd like to thank him.
Yes.
I'd like to thank you, man. Whatever you all see something, call President Bain and say something. Don't close your eyes and pretend like you don't see it.
Yeah.
But on another thing I'd like to thank you about, a lot of people don't realize this, President Bain, you are the first person I ever heard who's going to help the Bahamian kids who are not that smart in school, who might drop out of school and only have a leaving certificate. That means they cannot run fast, they are on the track team. Mm-hmm. You are the first person that are going to help them. Mm-hmm. The mothers and the grandmothers, please vote for President Bain if you have kids. He's going to help your kid with our carbon credits, and they can be someone with that. I just like to say thank you for everything, President Bain, and good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You can go look at our vision for education. That's on our platform on coalitionofindependence.com. All right. Independence is spelled with a TS, not a CE. All right. Independence. It's talking about independent thinkers. All right. So that's what we're gonna have. The straw vendors, listen. Let the straw. They don't want the straw market crowded, and so they're saying let them work on a shift. So, and to my straw vendors, if they don't want to do what y'all say, y'all get together. It was 300 of y'all versus 11. That's the vote. 300 of y'all said you're going to work shift. Just work shifts. You don't have to come every day. The government can open that as much as they want. Y'all get yourselves together. Don't depend on the government, and y'all work out the shifts. All right. Don't waste time with the government because they're not going to ever do what the people want. But they have to keep you down and keep their foot on your necks in order for you to stay subservient. All right. So do what you have to do. For the petroleum resellers. Listen, man. I heard from that man last minute today on one show saying that y'all don't own nothing. Right? Y'all don't own the gas station, y'all leasing the gas station, so y'all ain't really investors. It's so amazing why our country is so backwards because we had people like him who grew up in the 60s running this country, and that's why we're still in the situation we're in. Let me tell you about the 21st century, Leslie Miller. In the 21st century, it is the object of companies not to own anything but intellectual property. Nike doesn't own anything. They own a swoosh that can be placed onto products. All right? Banks have come in this country and they started out leasing before they built their own buildings. The biggest hotel company in the world doesn't own a hotel. It's called Airbnb. The biggest taxi company in the world doesn't own a car. It's called What is it? Uber, Lyft, the biggest rental space company. Why do we keep entertaining conversations from these old, dried up politicians who are out of their class and like they're stuck in a time capsule, and y'all keep voting for them? Brave Davis is talking about bringing crypto to the Bahamas, but he doesn't own a crypto wallet. He doesn't even know about a crypto wallet. Brave Davis, how could we have crypto and be a crypto hub if the prime minister, who put all crypto and etc. in his name and under his power, how could we succeed in that if the man don't have a crypto wallet? You can imagine having someone run a bank who never had a bank account before. Yeah. Man, how does that work? You can imagine someone running BTC who never had a telephone, let alone a cell phone. We keep putting these old dry up politicians who are outdated, fully out of touch. Leslie Miller said they don't own nothing, so we shouldn't listen to them. He started also giving a list of examples of other countries and what their markup for fuel is. He gave some loose examples of Barbados and their markup. I think he said 14 cents or something. And he gave a couple other countries and said what their markup is. He said Turks and Caicos was the highest one. It was 26 cents or something like that. Leslie Miller, I don't know if you ever traveled before, but those Caribbean countries you listed, if you go in their grocery store, things are much cheaper. They could have a smaller markup. If a loaf of bread in Jamaica is 300 Jamaican dollars, that's only $2. Leslie, they could have a smaller markup because things cheaper in their country. Y'all are out of date. Y'all need to just step aside. Get out of the way, please. And I cry shame on these talk shows who keep bringing these, and I call them criminals because they've raped and robbed our country. Leslie Miller, you are a criminal. You have raped and robbed this country because you have gotten loans from BOB. You have taken advantage of this. You've gotten government contracts, leases, told the government they got to fix your building because that they was leasing from you. These people who are singing for their supper. That $250,000 light bill. How does that happen? You could barely have a $250 light bill. How does that happen? I cry shame that anyone even entertains a conversation with him. I need his last call, and then we gotta get out of here. And then I'll tell you what the petroleum retailers need to do. And then I'll be out of here. Good evening. You're live.
Oh, hi. Yes, I wanted to ask you, you know how, well, I don't know if you are familiar with this, but I have observed where a lot of Haitians are saying that, you know, they were adopted when they were kids by Haitian parents, but they really are Bahamians, and, you know, they're talking based on these false documents that they have. Mm-hmm. Does the COI have anything in place that they plan to use to crack down on this large influx of these false documents and stuff that not just Haitians, but, well, I guess the majority of them are Haitians, but foreigners are using, to infiltrate our system.
There's going to be a massive audit. All right, that's all I can say for now. There's going to be a massive audit. All right, and there's some things we have to say, and there's some things we have to hold our chest. But there's going to be a massive audit. All right, and there's going to be a new passport for the Bahamas because we're going republic and we're going to become a new country. So there's going to be a new passport, and that has some ramifications. I won't go into it, but we have a new color passport. All right.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. And that has some ramifications.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you too. Only who we say have that passport have that passport. To the retailers, I think that what should happen is that it should be on a percentage basis, so these retailers can make some money. It should be on a percentage basis. What is happening right now is just nonsensical and stupid to me. The government is making all of the money from this. The government should not be making more money than the actual person in the business. That's ludicrous. That's ridiculous. And so I think it should be a percentage base, and they get a percentage markup. And that's it. All right. Stand up, guys. Well, we got some time. Election may be quick, or it might be up to 3.5 years because we're 3.5 years out. You have to decide what it is we're going to do. All right. They've been in for 1.5 years. We got 3.5 more years to go. All right. So you got to spread the message of a new Bahamas. We have a new Bahamas that's coming that's going to be great for us, for our people. Grants that are going to be given to us. Grants to Bahamians to start there. When Toby applied for that Crown land, the government should have said, okay, you want the Crown land? Here, we're going to give you this grant, fix up that lighthouse, open your business. You go own half, we're going to own half. Make this happen. Hire Bahamians. All right? And then you find other Bahamians who want to bring attractions. In the new Bahamas, the first thing we're going to do is to find attractions for tourists. Tourists are bored. All right. We are going to redo Bay Street. Look at our tourism plan, but we are going to redo Bay Street. We're going to acquire buildings on Bay Street. No excuses. No excuses. We are going to acquire buildings on Bay Street, and we're going to redo Bay Street. Bay Street is not going to be about some Indians selling T-shirt and jewelry. Those days are numbered. But we will give grants to Bahamians to do things on Bay Street, to turn that into like South Beach. All right, go look at our plan. Go on our website and look for the vision, and you'll see our plan for tourism. All right, Bay Street is going to be walking only. We're going to change the road into cobblestone, make it beautiful. Tables out on the sidewalks, out in the road. They're going to have Junkanoo parades. Just like how Disney has parades on the clock, we're going to have Junkanoo parades on the clock. And people are going to be paid. That's their full salary that they get paid to do Junkanoo on a constant basis. That's your job. And so Junkanoo parades every hour, every 2 hours, whatever it is. And that's your job, to go out there and beat them drums and let people experience Junkanoo all year round. All right? On Bay Street. Cars will go around Wood Rogers Wharf, around Shirley Street, not through Bay Street. All right? If Disney can do it, we can do it. Disney is a city that you pay to go and see. All right? We're going to make sure that there's entertainment on Bay Street, nice restaurants with Bahamian food, etc., where people want to come. Entertainment for people. I won't go into our full vision, but look at it. We're missing on the vision level, man. And they're bragging about all these tourists that are coming on the cruise ship, and we don't own a cruise ship. Y'all been getting money per head. Let's say $100 a head for the tourists coming in for all these years, and we ain't buy a cruise ship yet. Okay. Chester, you say you're a businessman. You see all this money that the cruise ship's making, and you couldn't sit down in a cabinet meeting and say, hey, boss, meaning Brave, you see how much money we making per head? Why don't we just own a cruise ship and we make the money? How about that? Not one cruise ship? Not one? You could borrow $5 billion in one term. But you can't take a couple $100 million and buy a cruise ship to move tourists around the Bahamas from port to port, so it's just not just coming to Nassau, to take them to Andres and take them to Cat Island and take them to Abaco. No, not one. Y'all can sit down and talk about how much the cruise ship. Carnival making $20 billion. Our whole country budget is just over $2 billion. Carnival making $20 billion. And y'all ain't think that we should buy a cruise ship? No, no way. No, we should just let the foreigners just keep making the money. Y'all, we need a new Bahamas, eh? We need cruise ships in the Bahamas. We need cruise ships going to other Caribbean countries to make money off of them. These imbeciles are bragging about 30,000 tourists a day. Can you imagine if half of that was us? We could buy enough ships to bring in half of that. Let's do some math after this call. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good night, Mr. President. How are you?
I am awesome. How you doing?
All right, man. Listen, I had to call.
Yes.
Listen, my thing is taxes are going up in the store, NIB, everything. Taxes is going up in this Bahama land on Bahamians already.
Yes.
These people want to run down this country. They want to bring in these foreigners to vote for them, and they're not checking. They want to tax us to death for their lavish lifestyle, for them, their families, and their sweethearts.
Wow.
Listen here, this is a real issue. But you know something? When it knocked at the Bahamian people door for real, when they wake up for real, they can see just what's going on.
Yep.
It is so difficult for people now. I mean, there's plenty issues. It's plenty things. I'm just talking about this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, how much more taxes you won't put on the people?
Wow.
How much more?
Wow.
While you all travel around the world, while you all eat caviar and drink champagne, how much more can we take?
Wow.
How much more the Bahamian people could take? And they don't think they should speak to us. They don't think they should address the issue of the day. They don't think they need the answer to us. But guess what? We can show you all. And I forget the most important thing tonight. I want my carbon credit money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brave is a thief.
Yeah.
And it needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
I want all my natural resources for my children and my grandchildren and my great-great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let that die. I want my money.
Yeah.
Because the parliament sit down, those MPs, all of Von Miller, all of them sit down, all of Hannah Martin, all of them sit down, even the opposition, even the Senate, help him pass those foolishness.
Yep.
And they accept it. Well, guess what? Y'all don't speak for me. Y'all do not speak for me, and I want my money, and I want it now. Have a good night.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, bye-bye.
30,000 passengers in New Providence. Let's say they make the average ticket, because some is more, some is less. Let's say they make about $1,000 per ticket, right? Average. That's about 30. That's about $30 million. Yeah, about $30 million. Let me do this math for y'all. 30,000 times 1,000 per average ticket. Yeah, that's $30 million, right? $30 million, right? With an M times 365. That's 10.9, might as well say $11 billion just off of tickets. And that's not all is made from cruise ships. They make most of their monies from activities on the ground because they charge big money to each of those for each of those attractions on the ground. Oh, you might see them going in the Jeep. The Jeep company might say, "Okay, I'm gonna charge 50." The cruise ship will charge 250. Sorry, $150 to $200. They have a huge markup, and that's where they make most of it from the activities on the ground. That's where most of the money is made. So they make 4 or 5 times this amount because every port they go to, there's activities that they make money from. Why aren't we making that? Why? Why aren't we putting our culture on the ship with shows, etc., and spreading it around to the rest of the world? Sharing our cuisine to the rest of the world on the ship. Instead of them coming to the Bahamas, we take the Bahamas to them. No way. No? They say the carbon credits were trillions. We can't get dollar out of that. Not dollar. Some say, oh, Lincoln could be just like the rest of them. Well, you know how they are. That's guaranteed you get nothing if you vote for them. That's guaranteed. What I guarantee you is I want my check too. I want my children to have their check. I want my family to have their check. I'm fighting for that. It's guaranteed. Something different. Something different. All right. So thank all of y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Toby, have my deepest sympathies. But again, the problem is you are a criminal, and the crime that you committed is being Bahamian while in the Bahamas. That is treated like a crime now. It's actually been treated like a crime for 50 years, but it's gotten worse under the Davis administration. All right. And so let's move forward. Let's take this country forward. Let's take this into the new Bahamas. Let's usher this in. All right. So we have another dollar drive on Saturday. Please support. Please support the dollar drive. Or if you want to support the movement, you can go on our website and support the movement, or come to the office and support the movement. They're open daily until 5 p.m. Please support the movement. We're going to get this done. And don't forget, to have idle conversations when you go there. When you're sitting down at the Domino's table, you talk about what's going on in this country. You talk about the COI. You spread the word. You evangelize. You let people know that we need change. And it's happening. We're seeing it everywhere. Everyone is talking to us. All right? People are calling us. And they're tired of the PLP and FNM. They're tired. So we're headed to Miami. I'm going to go live again this week. Just a short one just to let you know all the details. If you're traveling, etc. A lot of people are going with us. A lot of people are traveling from all over America. We're going to make a statement. All right? And that's what we're going to do. And so I want you to watch and see if the government tries to interfere. This government tries to interfere in any way. With that, that's what I want you to see. Let's see if, they don't believe in democracy in the Bahamas. Let's see if they'll try to interfere, maybe try to stop us from traveling or doing something like that. Let's stay tuned. Let's see. All right? Because these are really devious people. I don't think they'll do that, but who knows? Didn't think that they would do what they would do to women on the beach in this country. We're going to stand up and we're going to fight. All right. So thank you all so much for being a part of this. I know I didn't take any comments from on the text messages, but you gotta call, man. You gotta call. It's like sometimes I can't see what's in the text messages. We're going to take over the 7 pillars of this economy. We're going to make sure that the Bahamians own the 7 pillars. And so the last thing I'm going to show you before we go, this is the 7 pillars of the economy. Keep this in your mind. This is what they control in order to keep us down. 7 pillars of the economy. The natural resources, whatever that is, and the number 1 industry, which is tourism in our case, real estate, banking, insurance, wholesale distribution, shipping, etc. Played a few again. This is the pillars of the economy, the 7 pillars of the economy. It is your natural resources. It is tourism. Let me just explain this to you. Natural resources is where money is made in every country. And whatever the number 1 industry is also a pillar. And for us, it's tourism. All right. And all of these other things you need to go through these. Real estate, any business you want to do must take place on land. Anything you want to do takes place on land. Even the natural resources are on land. They're inland. Even the ocean is on land. Everything is on land. So real estate is one of the pillars. Banking. They control your money, where it is, the access you have to it is one of the 7 pillars. All right. Insurance, and the banking includes finance. All right. They control who does what. If you want to get a car, you got to go through them. Want to get a house, you go through them. Insurance is another pillar. Insurance can sometimes, hurt some people and seem like a ripoff, but that's another pillar of the economy. Wholesale and distribution. This is what some persons have done to keep us back for a long time. Whoever controls wholesale distribution have one of the 7 pillars. And that's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And so last but not least, shipping, because everything that you bring in will come through a ship. And so even if they, partner with you in your business, because you imported something, they got a piece of that pie. And when you import something, when you go into business, sometimes you get financing through the banking. You have to do it on real estate, for example. So they'll always get a piece of what you're doing. You have to do it on real estate. You have to ship it into the country. You get insurance as you're shipping. So all of these pillars is what once you control these pillars, you control the economy. All right. So someone says food, that's not one of the pillars. It's something that you need, but it's not one of the pillars. All right. And food would come under wholesale and distribution. All right. So wake up, Bahamas. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you as always. Stay tuned, spread the word. Let's get this out there. It's the only way that we're going to see a new and better Bahamas. Something you haven't heard for a long time, because every time we play it, they knock out the live. But I'll risk this live getting knocked out today because I want to hear this. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
And it's Bahamians unprepared to stand up and fight and defend their own Bahamas, that you don't deserve to have it.
Now let that sink in. Come on. Change ain't coming, change is here. You can hear it, you can feel it in the air. All politicians, put your hands in the air. Just a stick up, let me make myself clear. I'm a grown man talking, so you know what to do. No one's leaving till we figure out the truth. Why you laughing? This ain't nothing funny. So no one gets to go home till we figure out this money. Change ain't coming, change is here. They say change ain't coming, but change is here. They say change ain't coming, but change is here. They say change ain't coming, nigga, change is here. Now if you ain't standing with us, then I know you against us. Bahamas, this ain't no time for us to be lukewarm. This is war, and we riding through the storm. Come on. Let's go, shalom to all my Hebrew brothers. To all my Muslim and Rastas, we need you, brother. Selassie, I know I can't forget the Christians. Let's put our differences aside, cause it's a bigger mission. See, they've been doing this for years, trying to separate us, kinda trying to keep us down and never elevate us. Now it's time to praise the Lord, cause he's about to take us over to the promised land where we can celebrate us. I got to do it for my kids that ain't even born yet, so the minute that they born, they already got it. arms around their neck, yeah. See, y'all been robbing my grandmother, my great-great-grandmother and grandfather. It's like y'all can't get enough. Y'all just keep eating and eating and giving us nothing but taxes. Y'all went even as far as to say that this country's in debt and we ain't got no money. When 9 times out of 10, everybody in this country's possibly a millionaire. It's time to wake up. Let's talk about natural resources, cause every time we bring it up, they say hold your horses. They say it ain't worth a thing, but it's worth a fortune. Meanwhile, they open up their businesses across the borders. Oh yes, we track their bank accounts across the waters. They say this country in debt, but they making millions. If we don't stop this now, they be up to billions. It's about to go down and I get the feeling we gotta cut a movie on these dirty villains. Sonus Lincoln Bain and his team came with information. It's like everything changed, everything went quiet. It's like so much facts and they can't deny it. They'd rather keep their mouths shut before they start a riot. Now look how they tryna just steal the oil. They don't wanna share with none of y'all. They been robbing us while we were sleeping. Send them to jail cause they failed, they committed treason. Change ain't coming. They say change ain't coming. The change is here. They say change ain't coming. The change is here. They say change ain't coming. No, the change is here. Listen, from Freeport to Nassau all the way to Nagua. There's no more time for us to sit back and be quiet. You understand? This is war. If they only knew who we were, if they only know who we are, they would know we are warriors. No retreat, no surrender. Just give us what you owe us. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. I feel this all the way to my ancestors. We are warriors. We only really want what's owed to us. You get it? Now free up.